Hello there. You seem lost. Why don't you come with me? Don't be scared. Here's a balloon. You'll float too. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Faust of Pebbles. Today I'm gonna be reviewing the brand new 2017 It film. Since I did a reaction to the trailer, link in the description below, I think it's only fair that I also do a full-on review of the actual film. Warning, there will be spoilers up ahead. I think it's only fair to you that I mentioned that I'm not a huge horror movie fan. To me, a horror movie is very predictable and cheesy, and not necessarily scary, which takes away the fun out of it. This is just my opinion, but I feel like a horror movie tries to make the monster memorable, while the human characters, who we spent like 90% of the movie with, are usually forgettable and have a very specific role and are played by the books. I don't know, that's just my opinion towards it, and that's why I don't really like watching horror movies. But with that said, let's get on to it, the movie. Right off the bat, we are introduced to Georgie. You know, that character with the yellow raincoat that was everywhere in the promotional. Well, he dies in the first 5 minutes of the film in one of the most brutal ways to kill off a kid. Little old Georgie gets his arm torn, more like bitten and torn, I guess, off by Pennywise, and then he gets dragged into the sewers to be consumed. With this scene alone, it proves that this is not gonna be anything like the miniseries 27 years ago. The scene was so awesome. It set up the world so perfectly. It shows that just because these are kid actors, it's not afraid to push that boundary and that limit of what is brutal and acceptable, which honestly I could respect a bit. As we continue on with the film, we find out that there are kids missing left and right in this little town of Derry, Maine. That's when we're introduced to our main cast of Billy, Ben, Beverly, Richie, Mike, Eddie, and Stanley, which they deemed themselves the Losers Club. Remember how earlier I mentioned that for the most part horror movies do a horrible job in portraying human characters? Well, this is not the case in this film. I want to say, like, for the first hour of this movie, we are with these characters, developing them as real human characters. I haven't watched any really recent films besides The Conjuring 2, but as far as I'm aware of, no film slows down the horrorness and the anticipation for like a whole hour just to develop on its characters. That to me is unheard of, and it's done so well. That's not to say that Pennywise is nowhere to be found in the first hour. He is individually picking out the kids and their fears one by one as he is tendering his meat so he could prepare to eat it. It isn't until halfway through the film when they really start amping things up with Pennywise. The kids discover that they're not alone in seeing this weird clown apparition, which isn't an apparition. They find out that each of them has seen it at one point or another, and so they decide to do something about it. Well, mainly Billy, who wants answers for his missing brother Georgie, and the others just follow along, which this leads to an amazing middle and third act. The strongest thing this movie has going for it is that these kids feel like they have a real connection, and they seem like real kids who would be hanging out to a certain degree, minus the monster hunting. They honestly talk how real kids would talk without their parents around. I know I do. They are very witty and funny, which in my personal opinion, I found this movie way more comical than it was scary, which is scary to think that this is a horror film, but yet I find it more funny, like a comedy. It's weird. Pennywise does such a great job in evoking fear and tension to these characters, but at the same time I feel like he himself is over the top, making him funny at times. Just like when for no reason at all, he in this one scene towards the end decided to dance right in front of Beverly. Like, there was really no point in that, but it was just funny. The Pennywise, the dancing clown part of it. In my opinion, this is a strength of the film, as it knows not to take itself way too seriously as most horror movie films do. It understands that a space creature that awakens every 27 years, dressed as a clown, eating kids under a sewer, is insane. So to decide to roll with the punches, my favorite scenes of this film are all with Pennywise, obviously. When him and Georgie meet up in the beginning, the projection scene, when the loser club go inside the house, and the final battle. Those scenes are just so freaking amazing, and they are definitely highlights of the film. It brings just so much tension. Some weaknesses of the film, including a couple of nitpicks of mine, include: why didn't Georgie get up when Pennywise bit his arm off? Like, your hand got bitten off, but your legs are working, so why are you crawling? I also feel like Stanley is the weakest member of the group, as he really isn't there to do much. I don't know, I feel like the film could have been slightly better without him. Or at least he could have had more of a personality, because he's very, I don't know, he's kind of off-putting for me. Another nitpick of mine is when all the kids are at the town square or whatever it is, and they're all confessing to seeing this clown, and then Stanley agrees. No, you never saw the clown. You saw that painting with the flute that you're afraid of. There wasn't a moment in the film where they show Stanley and Pennywise prior to that moment. So if anything, Stanley shouldn't be saying he also saw a clown. That lying little kid. Now that I think about it, another nitpick of mine is when Stanley is in his father's office, right before Pennywise is right behind him as the art creature thing. He opens the door for him. Why would you give him an easier escape route than he already had it? It just makes no sense. Something I personally really did not like was Pennywise's lazy eye. It made him seem derpy, and I couldn't take him very seriously at certain times. Fun fact though, Pennywise's lazy eye was not CGI, done by Bill Skarsgård. Once the director told Bill that he wanted to do this effect, Bill told him, no need, I could do it. It's quite impressive, to be honest. I still don't like the effect, but the purpose of it was if you cover half his face, Pennywise is in the film, but if you cover the other half of his face, it's supposed to be reflecting at you. That's some trippy stuff, ain't it? My last little nitpick is when it dies, or more like goes away into a slumber. One of the kids, I don't remember who, he points out that all the kids that were floating are coming down. But then immediately after, Bill finds Georgie's yellow jacket and they do like this group hug thing. The thing that bothers me is, are those people dead? Are those people alive? I'm only asking this because Beverly was able to get out of the trance. Sure, she might have barely gotten trance, but still she got trance, or whatever you want to call when she looked into his deadlight. And so I'm curious, are those kids alive? Are they dead? What happened when they came down? Are they just a bunch of corpses? Are they just all still under his trance? I don't know. I really want to know the answer of this. So if you know, please let me know in the comments down below. Overall, I think it is more funny than scary, which isn't a bad thing in my book. Both the Losers Club and Pennywise leave a memorable performance, leaving you wanting more, which is true because I saw this film twice and I rarely do that, and I never do that with a horror film, so that says a lot coming from me. Overall, I give it chapter 1 8.5 floating balloons. What did you think of it chapter 1, and do you think chapter 2 will be any good? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to share this video and drop a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're at it, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Hope to see you all in the next video. Laters.